Hi, my name is Cherise Raven, otherwise known online as Denkai. I'm also known for Denkai Designs, which is my Needleminder shop, and today I'm going to be talking to you about making Needleminders. If you've seen my guide to the different types of Needleminders, then this is the follow-on from that. If you haven't, if you check out the link below, then that will take you to that video. And that's kind of just telling you all about the different types of Needleminders that there are. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make some Needleminders that are on wooden tiles. Let me find a couple to show you. Here we go. Right, there's this one here. It's on a wooden tile. This one here. You see a bit of a reflection because it's covered in resin. And that's a 1.5 inch wooden tile. Well, there's like a little, let me get that one. There's a little one here, which is a wooden tile. You don't have to use wooden tiles similar to the ones that I have. If you have your own particular wooden tile that you like, you can use that one. In this video, I'll be discussing the things that you need to make your own Needleminders. I'll be discussing how to fix your image to a wooden tile to ensure that it stays stuck and stays sealed. I'll be talking about resin and how to add the top layer of resin on the top of the Needleminder to get that set beautifully and looking nice. And I'll be talking a bit about magnets as well, what type of magnets you should use or which you shouldn't be using, and a bit about the polarity, and we'll see what it does, and we'll get it all done and made and set, and then you can see examples at the end. Okay, here we go. Right, here we go. To make wooden Needleminders, you are going to need some wooden tiles. I have a selection here. There is a 1 inch square, a 1 inch by 2 inch wooden square, wooden rectangle, and a 1 inch circle. The tiles that I use are birch wood. This is a plywood. I get it from a supplier in the UK. If you go to any kind of craft store, you'll be able to find something similar. For example, here's a wooden tile that I have from Hobbycraft. If you're American, I'm sure that your Michaels or Joann's will sell something similar. So you need your wooden tiles. You will need magnets that you want to add on to the back to obviously seal them on there. You will need your images. I have a small selection of images here, and I've got some image sheets that I'll be using. So yeah, images. You will also need some scissors. If your images come like this, you'll need some scissors to cut them out. Or possibly there's a 1 inch circle stamp that I use. Looks like that. You will also need a sealer. I use Mod Podge. Obviously you need a paintbrush to go with that. Any kind of paint sealer will do. Any kind of paper glue will do. It's just to seal and form a barrier, and obviously to glue it onto the wooden tile. Is that there? You will also need some button backs. I back all of my Needleminders with buttons with the magnets on. I find it helpful. It helps you grab them, and a lot easier than just kind of getting a magnet just by itself. So we've got some little button backs here to add on. If you don't want to get the fabric ones, you can use, as an example here, just a normal button backed with a magnet. So I will put them out there as well, just some buttons that you've got. You will also need some resin. I use epoxy resin to make mine, and I'll show you how to use that to make yours. Alternatively, if you did want to use the epoxy resin, you could opt to use a diamond glaze. I find the finish isn't as nice or as professional, But it's a lot easier to use diamond glaze, and if it's your first time, I would recommend that you maybe try this first if you've got some spare, if you're a bit of a crafter and you already have some, as this set is about £20 just for the tiny ones. But I do find that this ice resin is the best. It's the best one that I have found. There are other makes of resin, but this is the most professional, the clearest, and I find it's self-doming, so it's less likely to spill over the edge and be quite runny, but it is a bit expensive. So you might prefer to use the diamond glaze, or alternatively you can find these epoxy stickers. They're just little 1-inch stickers. You've got the stickiness on the back. Don't do that and put your thumb on, because you'll put a print on it. That was just to show you. But the stickiness on the back, and then obviously the clear top there. They are quite thin though, so you don't have much of a dome or much kind of depth to your image. But if you want to use that, then by all means, let's put them in. There's those. Also, you will need a little pot for stirring your resin and a stick for stirring the resin. If you are using these buttons, you will need a little bit of scotch tape or sellotape, whatever you want to use, and a good old E6000. This is a big massive stick of glue or tube of glue. What you're going to be using it for is very delicate, so I suggest you get one of the adapters. I don't actually think that one will work for this one. What I generally do, if I can find it, yes I can, is I use a syringe to help with my glue, because this is a big industrial size glue. You can get smaller ones for like 5mm, yeah, which would probably be a lot more easier to use for this kind of delicate crafting. I also use the syringe for helping with the resin, but if you don't have a syringe, empty syringe available, just use a stick, that will be fine. I believe that is everything, so we'll get started. I've also brought down some examples of ones that I've done that haven't gone so well. So these are just to kind of show you that it is kind of trial and error, and if it doesn't go right first time, then I'll show you how to kind of make it a bit better. So yeah, let me show you some of these. In fact, I'll keep these out and I'll show you, hopefully as I go along, examples of what not to do and what will happen if you don't do it like that. Right, so to start with, we've got our images. I've already cut some images out because these are for orders that I have off my Etsy shop, so I thought, well, I might as well combine two things at once and cut some images out that I need to make up already. Generally, when I do sell things on my Etsy shop, and you might also want to do this yourself, if you're making Needleminders, you can do it as well as you want, but sometimes something might happen. You might not seal it correctly all the way around or as well as you thought, so it might not be as good as you want it to be. There might be a problem with dust getting on top of the resin and setting on the resin. Oh, there might be little air bubbles and you haven't got all the air bubbles out of the resin. So what I generally do is I make up two. So if you have an image that you've decided you want to do, I would make 2 Needleminders for it, and then obviously keep the best one, because guaranteed something will go wrong with one of them. Right, so as I said, these are images that I want to make today to show you, but I also have some other image sheets that I have. This is one set. These are like dark fantasy fairy tale characters that I have. I love these, absolutely love them. So I will make some circles or some squares out of those. It's also getting towards Valentine's Day, so I thought maybe make a couple of these. And these are like colourful heart designs. They're 1-inch squares, and the same as these are 1-inch squares. I got them off Etsy, and I'll put a couple of clips in now of Etsy pages, a couple of pictures of Etsy pages where I've got them from, or that are particular favourites of mine. Just go on Etsy and search for digital images or collage images, that kind of thing, and you'll be able to, you know, choose a design that you want to use. Just print it out. When you print it out, don't use an ink printer. You want to use one of the laser printers. You want it to be very high quality, high resolution. If you use the ones that are kind of once they're printed, if the paper's kind of wet and it's got a lot of ink on there, and as soon as you add glue to it, it's just going to run and smear. So you want one that's like laser jet. That said, we'll choose a couple of pictures and we'll get going. If you wanted to sharpen your scissors, these are just kind of everyday scissors. If you get a bit of tin foil, and I've just kind of folded it over, or aluminium foil, sorry, I folded it over into a couple of layers, and if you just kind of make some more cuts along the length of the scissors, that'll just kind of give it a bit of a sharpen, bit of a tip there for you. Alternatively, if you want to use one of the stampers, you can do the same with the stamper. Just kind of put the foil in there, give it a stamp, and off you go. Right, let's choose some hearts, because it's coming up February and it's love. So I really like these colourful big hearts, so I think I will cut out some of those, and yeah, maybe do a couple of the circle stamps. They're quite cute. Yeah, so I will cut these. Okay, so there we go. There are our images, which we're going to turn into Needleminders, but not just Needleminders. If you wanted to transform this, your tile and your image into something different, into like a necklace or a keyring, you know, we can do that. That's not a problem. But for Needleminders, we need wooden tiles. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. On my tiles, I have one side which is always a lot better than the other. So that one's quite clean. There's not a lot of marks on there. I want this to be the back. I want to attach the magnet onto there, and I want this side, which has got a couple of marks where it's been kind of lasered out. Or it's slightly dirtier. The wood's slightly dirtier. Obviously you use clean tiles, but yeah, the wood's slightly dirtier. I don't really want this to be seen, so that's the side that I'm going to put the image on. So you've got the nice side there, and then the side that's less attractive is going to be covered up with the image. Right, so let's find the good sides. We'll put the good sides down on the board, so we're making sure that the not so good side is going to be covered. Yeah, you can see lots of kind of burnishes, but it's not a problem. There's nothing wrong with the wood. It's just where it's been lasered. So we're going to cover those up. So get our little pot of Mod Podge. I use Mod Podge. As I said before, you can use whatever you want. See, we're getting the Mod Podge. And with a clean paintbrush, we're going to go around on the back of these tiles. So with the paper, the Mod Podge on my paintbrush, I'm just going to paint a small thin layer of glue on the back, all over the back, and this is going to soak into the paper, and obviously we're going to seal it, so we're going to pick the image up. Be a little monkey, and we're going to put that there. And I've already cut these out, put that. And I've cut them out to be obviously exactly the same size, so 1 inch by 2 inch. So I'm going to run my hands over the top just to kind of seal it in, and then I'm just kind of going to run my thumb down the side just in case there is a slight overlap on the lip. It should only be 1 millimetre. If it's any more than that, you need to trim it off. Trim off the excess on that. Let's have a look. So just a touch that we need to trim off, because we want it to line up beautifully. Because when it doesn't line up beautifully, it ends up looking something like this. I don't know if you can see lots of the paper. It's kind of, these are my first attempts at learning, obviously, because I kind of taught myself how to do this. Kind of learning that if you don't make it perfect, it kind of puckers up at the corners. Can you see that? Kind of puckers up at the corners. So yeah, you want it to look lovely, and so you need to make sure that it fits onto the tile pretty exactly. I don't think there's anything to cut off this side, is there? Maybe it's slightest little tiny millimetre. But yeah, so we just make sure that once you kind of put the glue on, it's trimmed pretty exact. I generally prefer wooden tiles with rounded edges. I think they feel a bit better, but it's personal preference. So yeah, that's been all glued on nice there, so I'm going to put that there, and I will speed up the camera a little bit while I glue the rest on, just as I have there. Okay, here goes. Okay, there we have our 8 domino tiles, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I do the circle ones, an example of a circle one and an example of a 1 inch square one, just so you can see me doing them. And then I'll do them all and show you, once we've stuck them all on, how we then seal them. So first with the, clean those scissors off. First with the 1 inch circle, although I have cut it out using my stamp, if you look, if you can see the edges on that. Some are quite smooth and then some are quite rough, and you can see on that one there's like, even if I can get it on a dark background, there's even like a little lip in the circle, and we're gonna have to get rid of that. It needs to be really kind of quite smooth and rounded. So you can either, at this stage, if you can see where the original circle was, this one's got like a little impression in where it should have been, but the paper's just kind of torn a little way after. You can just trim it now, or you can trim it after. So we'll just do the 1 inch circle as an example. There we go, all that on there. Flip it round. Oh, lost it. Just going to stamp it down. Start at the centre, just kind of push it down like that. So it's all nice and sealed. Just go over slightly, just rubbing your thumb over just to kind of seal it all the way to the edges. And like I said, if it did go over a little bit, this one's got a little tiny lip in places, just get your scissors and just trim off. It should only be like 1 mil or 2 mil if you've cut it using a stamp. Or if you don't have a stamp, just draw around a 1 inch circle and that'll do. So there's that one sealed on nicely. To do the square, the 1 inch square, this, obviously, you can see when I show you the back, I have not cut that very well at all. Or when I printed it, I printed out the wrong size, so that's a bit too big. So I'll have to recut that. But this one and this one is as well, a little bit too big around the outside. But it's not a problem. We'll seal it on there, and we'll do as we did with the other one. We'll just kind of cut around the outside once it's all sealed on. Again, you need to just double check and see, make sure that you get the nice side of the tile for the magnet. Nice side, not so nice side. We'll put the image on there. I'm just going to start in the middle, just kind of smooth it out to the edges and make sure the image is pretty much bang in the middle where we want it. There we go. Just go around the edges like that, just to kind of seal it on there. Let's go that way. And then we'll, it's hard to talk with paintbrush in your mouth, there we go. And then we'll just trim up. As I said, just get rid of the, I like my edges rounded. Let's do them. And trim a little bit of excess off each side just so it sits really nicely. And then go around the outside once more. So that's all nice. Incidentally, don't get a tissue. Don't do the cutting over your glue, otherwise you end up with bits like that in your glue, and you want your glue to be nice and clean and clear, because when your glue's got lumpy bits in, that shows under the paper, it shows on your Needleminder or your pendant or whatever you're making. So let's get rid of that. This is just tissue. Let's clean that off a little bit. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out some wooden tiles, some more of my circles, and I'm going to do the rest. So I will pause the video and then I will unpause it when everything's done, and we'll go on to the ceiling. Okay, welcome back. As you can see, all of our images have been sealed onto the wooden tiles, or have been stuck onto the wooden tiles, should I say. So we've got the 1 inch by 2 inch dominoes, the 1 inch by 1 inch wooden squares, and the 1 inch diameter wooden circles. I will say that these wooden circles at the top with the characters, the kind of gothic-y fairy tale characters that we looked at and that I cut some out of, if you can see on a couple of them, there's this one here, just at the top, there's like a little sprig of white. Would you call it a sprig? I don't know. And this one here, there's a little dash of white. That's because me cutting with this in front of the camera was not very accurate. Normally I'd measure them up a lot. I'm a lot more careful. But not to worry, I've stuck them on because we can remedy this. If you find this yourself, or even if you want to add a little bit more kind of definition or a bit more of a border, you can use some ink distress. And what we'll do, these are all dried, it's stuck on and it's dried, but I haven't coated the top yet. I'm just going to take this ink distress and just brush it gently at an angle just around the outside of the image, and what that'll do is just put a thin little black covering around the side, and I think it looks really nice and like it's kind of a bit of a frame or a bit of a border. I will show you. So that is one. This one here is one before it's been done, and this one here is one after it's been done, and hopefully you'll be able to see the difference. And I love this one. I call her Raven. I think she's awesome. But that's before, and then we'll go around and give her a bit of a border, very carefully. You don't want to, this stuff is obviously ink, and it'll go everywhere if you give it a chance. There. As you can see, there's still a bit of a white lip, which I'm not happy about because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Okay, a lot of a perfectionist. So I'm just gonna give that a little bit more of a border at the top. Okay. Yeah, and we'll just go around like that with these, giving them a bit more definition. Obviously try not to get ink all over them. It'll obviously go all over me. Well, that's what happens. Once these you've done a little border on these like this, you need to let the ink dry, because we're going to be adding Mod Podge as a sealant on the top, and you don't want the wet glue coming in contact with the wet dye, because it will go all over your image. You've got to be very careful anyway without it being wet. So that's that. So they've all got a nice little pretty border on. And what we're going to do is we need to seal this on here, because if you add resin without the image being sealed onto the domino, it will look like, let me see if I can find an example. No, obviously no, I can't. Let me get my little bag out. This is my bag of mistakes. I like to keep my bag of mistakes. I don't know why. Not that one. But there are a couple where I've done it. Yes, here we go. There's one here. I didn't put any sealer on this, and you can see the background is yellow. It's not supposed to be that yellow. It's the equivalent of getting a piece of paper wet or wet tissue wet. Like tissue paper wet. What happens is the glue, the resin will just soak right into that, and it will give it a lot of a darker image than is actually there. And you want to make these images as clear and as visible, and retaining all of the vibrancy and all of the colours as much as possible, which is why you need to add the glue sealant. It doesn't even have to be, as I said, I use Mod Podge. It doesn't even have to be Mod Podge. You can use something like this little ice resin paper sealer, or even PVA glue, just something that will provide a barrier to the water and the moisture from the resin. So the way that I do this, I've just lost my other thing. Oh, never mind. Right, we'll start. Oh, there we go. That's it. What we're going to do is you need to seal all of it, not just the front. Obviously the back of the image is stuck to the wooden board, but you need to make sure you fill the sides as well, because if you don't, you'll get little spots, little dark spots along, you get little dark spots along the edges there where you haven't sealed it properly. So the way that I do it is take a little bit of glue, and I just kind of brush it along the edges like this. And this takes time. The gluing bit is like, it does take a long time, especially if you've got a lot to do. But the more care you put in at this stage, the better it's going to look. If you don't take the time to put care and effort in at this stage, you'll be able to see it. The end result will not be as good as you want it to be. So yeah, you only need to, I generally only go around the outside once, maybe twice, and then on the top 3 times. Yeah, I've gone around the outsides like that, just kind of brushing the outsides, making sure I get the sides of that image. And we're just going to go around and coat the edges, because we have to seal them. When they're not sealed, you'll be able to see the resin will just soak through and create little spots. So yeah, we've done the outside of that. And as I said before, I'll show you one more time. We just kind of take care just to go around. As you can see, I'm just brushing glue onto the edge of that paper image, just where it meets the top of the tile. Like that. You just want it to give it a chance just to kind of soak in a little bit, because if it's not soaked in, you can see. There we go. And once that's all the way around, I'm just going to brush the excess off. It doesn't matter if it goes on the wood bit, it's fine, it's not a problem. It's just a little glaze on it, it'll be fine. There's a bit of a shimmer to it. So yeah, I'm going to go and seal round the edges of all of these, and I'll see you when I've done that. There we go, welcome back. Right, I've gone around all of the sides of these, and we've just sealed the edges. So they've all been sealed around the sides, but we need to give each of the tops 3 coats of glue. So there we go, just like this. And I'm just going to hold the corner and then just paint on the glue. Obviously you're going to get like a bit of a glue coating on, don't worry, it dries clear and it seals the image in there. So make sure that's completely covered. And yeah, so we're just doing that for all of them. Just like that. There we go. I will pause the video here and give all of them a coat, and then we'll see. Hello, welcome back. Right, as you can see, we've given them, previously we've given them a coat around the side, and we've just done the first top coat. I've got to wait for that to dry, and then we need to do 2 more. I did want to show you this here. This is one of the ones we did with the ink distress around the outside. Obviously I was not as careful as I should have been. Obviously, as you can see, there's ink. It's leaked from the outside, it's gone on the centre of the pattern, and it's leaked in from the inside. So that is one that I won't be making, definitely won't be selling, so that goes in the bin. The other ones, that one's okay. It's got a little bit of ink in the centre, so I would probably try and remove that. Just the outside is okay, none's leaked from the outside. There's just a little splodge of ink, black ink just on there. I'll probably try and clear that up, and if I can't, then I would throw that. That one's okay. Let me just do. That one's okay. This one has leaked in from the side there. Yeah, and this one that we did with the ink around the outside, that one's okay. So as I said, you got to be really careful with putting the distress ink. I probably did it a bit too soon and it wasn't completely 100% dry. If I was going to use this, I generally go a lot longer between the sticking on and using this and the sealing. So we'll keep going with them. Everything, all the other ones are fine. There's not a problem with them. So yeah, what I will do, top up with a bit more glue on that. And then what we're going to do is, let me hold up the corners. I'm just going to give it its second coat. This one is one of the first ones that I did, and this is dried, because it takes quite a while to do all these coats of glue, obviously depending on how many you're doing. Yeah, so that's dried. So that's just had its second set of glue. I'll go and give this one its second. Ooh, nearly. I'll go and give this one its second set of glue. Just making sure you coat every single part of it because it's all got to be sealed. And if it's not, then it will ruin the image. There we go. So I'll go do the second lot and I'll see you afterwards. Okay, we finished round 2. And that's looking, yep, pretty dry. If you look at the surface, if I can show you, let me get my trusty piece of paper. If you look at the surface, you can see it's got kind of a shimmer, slight shine, and it's slightly ruffled. I don't know how well that's coming off on the surface, if you can see that at all. But yeah, you can see it's pretty sealed. And I'm just gonna give it one final coat, and then we'll get on to preparing for resin. I'll do the third coat here just to show you. Yep, coat number 3, final coat. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on top of a plastic tray that I use. This is mainly because if we're going to be using resin and the resin spills, I don't want it to go everywhere. I want it to go on top of a plastic tray, something that's not going to stick, the resin's not going to stick to. You can easily peel it off. I would suggest you use something similar, a plastic sheeting, something like that. Yeah, mine is just a plastic lid from plastic lid. Okay, so we're back again. We've done 3 coats. We've sealed around the edges, 3 coats on the top, and we're ready to resin. What I usually do is I place these wooden tiles onto a plastic board. It's actually a lid of a plastic container. The reason why I use that is because if the resin goes over the side, I can easily just peel it off. If I did this on paper or card or anything similar to that, then the resin would just be absorbed and it'd be difficult to kind of clear up. This just makes it a bit easier. So we'll just put our little wooden tiles onto the clear board. There we go. Right, what I did think might be quite useful is if I do, I'll show you how to do the resin, but first, for a bit of comparison, I'm going to actually do one of them with diamond glaze. We'll do another one with an epoxy sticker, and you just to kind of see if, obviously, if you don't necessarily want to use the resin, but you still want to do the Needleminders, you can use diamond glaze. It's from any kind of craft store, and I'll just put like a bit of a coating on it and make it look quite nice. I've got to try and remember, I haven't used this in ages. There we go. Right, it literally, you can see, okay, maybe not. I think I might have to cut it again. Hang on a second. There we go. Just come out like a little liquid. Oh, hang on a second. Let me clear that out. And the tissues. There we go. Not too fast. I think I made the opening a bit too big, but never mind. Yeah, you just want to do a small coating on the surface, and this will dry clear. Just make sure everywhere is covered with this. I don't usually use this, but you might like to use this and not use the resin. It's up to you. There we go. So we've got all the way around the sides. Everywhere's done. Done in the middle. And we'll leave that to set, and you can kind of compare and see what you think of that. Right, we'll also do an epoxy sticker on this one here. So we'll just peel the sticker back. Careful not to obviously put your fingerprint on it. And then we're just going to seal that on there, give it a good press down, make sure it's well stuck. There you go, and that one is ready to go with an image. I'll do a close-up when everything's kind of set and you can kind of compare and see what you think. Right, let's make some resin. So let's bump them out the way. I have here a pot. This, if I can put something dark behind it, you think I'd be a bit more. What have I got that's dark? Nothing. Apparently I have nothing that's dark. You see the, oh, you can see there the little lines. It's like a measuring beaker, measuring cup in there. You can see them. Yep. And what we're going to do, the resin that I use is this ice resin. It is the best resin that I've found. It's jeweler's grade, what it says on it, jeweler's grade crystal clear resin. You use 2 parts. So you'll use part A, which is the actual resin itself, and whatever amount you use of part A, you'll use the same with part B, and part B is the hardener. So I'm going to take the cap off, and very, very carefully I'm going to measure out 15 millilitres in here. Do I have to cut the top? Yes I do. This is a new bottle. I bought new bottles specially for you. So there we go. Right, let's measure out 15. Put it down. Let's see where it comes up to. A little bit more. Yep, that'll do for that one. Then we want to add 15 millilitres of the part B of the hardener. Chop the end off that one. So we'll take this now up to 30. Just to add the other 15. If you're unsure, oh, rubbish. Oh, no, there we go. If you're unsure or you're a bit nervous about getting your amounts wrong, you can do them both separately and then add them together in another container. That's perfectly fine. Right, so there's part A and part B, and I'm going to get my stick scooper. You can use even like a wooden spatula, that kind of thing, and I'm just going to stir this gently, just like that, for 2-3 minutes. Give it a bit of a stir. Try not to stir it too vigorously. I don't want to introduce any extra bubbles in. If I can help it, it will bubble up automatically because that is the resin and the hardener reacting together. But those bubbles should kind of dissipate within the solution. Yep, so we're just gonna go around the sides, just kind of bring in everything from the sides into the centre of the container. There we go. We're going to give it a quick stir. I'll pause the camera now because you really don't want to see me stir this for 2 minutes, I'm sure. And we'll come back once it's all stirred. I will point out, if you have a look on the camera, you can kind of see the colour. It's not kind of crystal clear. There's like lots of kind of streaks of colour running through it. Once that's all thoroughly stirred, it should go away and it should be very clear. So I'll pause it now and give it a bit of a stir, and I'll see you back in 2 minutes. Right, welcome back. As you can see, I've adjusted the lighting slightly. I'm hoping you'll be able to see what I'm doing a bit clearer, maybe the surface of the resin a bit clearer. We'll see how it goes. So I have mixed my little pot of resin, part A and part B, 15 millilitres of each. That's gone together. I mixed for about 2 minutes, and I've just left it for about 2 minutes. The consistency, if you can see that, it's like a sticky honey, runny honey, and that'll thicken up as we kind of go along. It does have some bubbles in, but that's fine, that's just the resin reacting together. The main thing is, once it's put on top of the Needleminders, that we get rid of all of the bubbles that are there. You can, when you're doing this, there's two ways of doing it. You can use the stick if you want to, so you would kind of go, just kind of dribble it along the surface of the wooden tile with the image on. Just drip it like this until it's all kind of covered, and obviously just pull it into the corners along all of the sides. It's kind of let it fill out. It is self-doming, this particular resin, so once it comes to some kind of edge or corner, it will kind of want to stop. It won't go over unless obviously the volume is too great. So although you want it to be nice and full, you don't want it to be overflowing. So I've used the stick, the little scooper that the pack came with. You can use any kind of stick, and just kind of gently put a little bit on each time. That's got some bubbles on, but we'll just kind of leave that to set, and we'll go over bubbles before we kind of put it away, and leave it all to set. Right, I'm taking that out because I prefer to use this syringe. It is a 5mm syringe for use for medications and things. I got a bulk pack off, I think it was eBay or Amazon, online anyway, like really cheap, and I just find they're a lot easier and a lot faster, especially if you do quite a few. So I've sucked up 6ml of resin, and I'm going to show you how I do it. So we'll start off with the world over here, and gently, very gently, I just dribble the resin around the edges, and then once it is hitting all of the edges, it will try and go into the middle. Let's put a little blob in the middle, and then watch that kind of fill out over all of the spaces, all of the gaps, that kind of thing. So we'll do another one with the world here, because as I said, I like to do, if I'm making one to sell, I like to make two of it. Oh, and you can see that one's gone over the side. It's not a problem. What we will do is just get out some regular tissues. Just gonna grab that and just wipe the side, move it over there. I'm just gonna wipe it off the board. Not a problem. Here we go. Another one. I think that was me probably pushing it too close to the sides. This does take practice, knowing the amount that you need to put on. I still get it wrong sometimes, but you know, you just keep trying, keep doing. Has that gone all the way to the sides? Yes, it has. Lovely. Right, we'll do this one. Get my little plunger syringe to come out properly. Come on. Don't go over, don't go over. There we go. A bit more down this edge. And just being careful to make sure it goes right to the edge, because if it doesn't, it spoils the effect. Looks a bit naff, so we need to make it sure it goes all the way to the edge and fills all of the holes, in case there's any holes, I mean like gaps in the resin, so sometimes it can kind of circle around and then there's like a bit of the image which hasn't got the resin on in the middle, and we don't want that. So let's do this one. I think I need to pick up some more resin. Yeah, we'll get some more. So I'm just noises. Sucking up some more resin. Let that drip off. And we'll put some more down. There we go. I'll fast forward this bit of the video so you can see me put them on, but you don't have to listen to me go on and on about it. Right, there we go, we've resined them all, and what we need to do is look at them. Look at them really carefully, put the light on them. You'll see me move the lamp on to have a look at them, because there may be some little tiny bubbles. With this resin I find there's not that many. What I will do is take a straw, it's just a clear straw, and I will gently blow through the straw, and the heat of my breath will just will pop all of the bubbles that are on the surface if there are any. Be careful not to, obviously you don't want to get all your saliva and all wetness down the straw and onto the resin. That's not good. But you do just want a kind of a slow, gentle breath. Make sure you breathe out and not breathe in. Although this resin isn't toxic, you still don't want to be sucking up fumes from the resin. So yeah, I've just noticed that one is spilling a little bit. Might put a little bit too much on there. So this is quite good, which is that we don't put these immediately into rest. So I can just clear up any excess that's kind of dripping off. Clean that off. And salvage the wooden tile. There we go. Because it's not nice when I'll show you an example, if I can find one, of the resin just kind of leaking all over the sides. And you can see what it looks like. If I can find any, I might have got rid of them. I don't think I did. Oh, well, here is one that I've done where you can see I've tried to resin at the back, which yeah, that doesn't work on wooden tiles, but you can see it's kind of gone over and it's set out of bounds all down the side, and it doesn't really look that nice, which is why I generally try not to do that. Yeah, so I'll tilt the lamp down. I've got a lamp just here. I'll tilt that down and you can have a look and we can see if you can see any bubbles in a bit more detail. Ooh, I don't know if you can, maybe. I'm hoping you can. So I'm just going to blow gently across the surface, and if you look, hopefully you'll be able to see me pop some of the bubbles. It really is amazing. So hopefully you saw some of the little tiny bubbles popping on the surface there. What I'll do now is I will just examine all of them very, very carefully. Make sure there's no bubbles, make sure everything's kind of smooth, all the edges are, the resin's up to all of the edges, and if there are any bubbles, let me try and see if there is a bubble somewhere. This actually looks pretty clear. If I do see any markings, or maybe a little tiny hair's got on, so I'll just use a pin. I can't even see that because I've got the shadow on. I'll just use a pin and kind of go across the surface and just gently scoop the bubble or give the bubble a bit of a stab. and just make sure the resin is perfectly clear, because what you see at this point will be how the end result will look. So you want to make sure that there's very little marks, everything is kind of clear and perfect, because that is how it's going to set. And once that's done, once all the bubbles are popped and I'm happy with what it is, or you're happy with what you've done, I will move this onto a table and cover it with either the top of a cardboard box. I actually use the top of a plastic container. I'll insert a picture once it's done so you can see, and I'll leave it to cure for at least 24 hours. Usually it takes between 1 and 2 days. And what we'll do is after 24 hours, I'll gently kind of prod the corner of one and just see if it's sticky, if it's a bit tactile, and then it is longer. You need to basically be able to pick up that tile, completely touch it all over and see that it's all set and you're not leaving sticky marks or anything. That's when it's perfectly fine. So yeah, like I said, I'll check them all, stab all the bubbles out, put a container on it, and I'll show you a picture, and then we'll talk once that's done and once they're all set. Hi and welcome back. Right, it's been 24 hours since we added the resin, and it's all cured. You can touch it, it's not sticky, it's perfectly well sealed. I'll show you one. I'll show one up there. You can have a look. You can see the lovely little shimmer on there. There's no bubbles in it, and it's got a bit of a depth on it. Yeah, solid, really good resin set in that one. We set resin on all of these, except for, I think that one's alright, except for this one, which was a diamond glaze, and this one, which was the sticker. And I will show you them. I'll bring them up close so you can see them, and I'll put next to it one of the ones that we've resined so you can tell the difference, hopefully. So if I show you those three, this is the one with the resin on, this one is the one with the epoxy sticker on, and this one is the one with the diamond glaze. The difference, if you were thinking of making them at home, this one, the diamond glaze, it has got a bit of a shimmer on it, although it is quite flat. It is, there's no kind of depth to it, but it does look sealed, so if you were thinking of doing that, then by all means use that one. This one is the epoxy sticker. It does have a little bit of depth and a bit of a shimmer. But one of the reasons why I don't particularly like the epoxy sticker is, I don't know if you can see it there underneath, but the sticker, the glue on the sticker interferes with the picture that's underneath, and you can see kind of like, well, sticky glue residue really. So if you were doing that one, I would maybe try and have lighter images so you're less likely to see the stickiness. The darker the image underneath, the more you can kind of see the glue that's there. This is the resin one. Obviously I prefer the resin one, which is what I've just shown you it. It's really nice and glossy, nice finish, nice depth. But as I said, you've got to take a lot of care with this not to get bubbles in it. If you don't think you're able to kind of do that, then maybe I would go for the diamond glaze over the epoxy, and maybe try and add a few layers of the diamond glaze up to kind of build up a bit more depth on that. So that's those. Right, what we're going to do now, that one's kind of stuck down a bit, we're going to glue. Oh, you can see, hang on a second, you can see on this one, this is one that I've obviously knocked. And the resin's run over, if you can see. There's a bit of a lip on that coming on the side, and then at the back you can kind of see a little bit darker, but this one's quite thick. What you can do if you're in a situation where this has happened to you, it is salvageable. You could kind of sand down the resin that's on the side if you wanted, maybe kind of pick it off a little bit. It does come off, Oh, there we go, you can see it's kind of peeled off the side a little bit, and it won't peel off the front because that's too well set, but it has peeled off the side. There we go, you can see I've taken it off the side. Yeah, just sand that down a little bit just to kind of clear that up, so that's not really wasted. If you found that once you put it on, if there isn't enough resin, if you haven't kind of domed it, if it's quite flat and you want it to kind of have a nice dome finish on, once it's set, just kind of drop a little bit more resin on the top, making sure you obviously reach the same areas, get right to the edges again, and that'll self-dome and just add another kind of level, and then you can kind of build it up. I think we've put enough on these. I think they're okay. I'm quite happy with them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over magnets, and I'll show you what kind of magnets you need to turn it into a needleminder. Right, magnets here, I always use neodymium magnets. I don't use the ferrous ones, and by ferrous, let me get an example. This is my mother-in-law's fridge magnet that I've stolen. She likes owls. This is one of the old ferrous ones. It's quite thick. It leaves a bit of a mucky mark on your finger, and obviously that'll go on your fabric, so you don't really want that. You don't want those ones, they're not very good. You definitely want these ones, the I cannot pronounce it at all. The little neodymium, that's not how you say it, but that's how I say it. These little neodymium magnets, and you can see the different depths. Different sizes. This is just a small sample of ones that I've got. On the different Needleminder videos I'll kind of go over a bit more, because in some of the Needleminders I make, you need to use smaller ones, smaller Needleminders, or thicker smaller magnets, or thicker magnets, depending on the Needleminder that you're using. As you can see, if I show this up, there's these ones here. These are my preferred ones. These are the ones that I use for backing everything. Yeah, really powerful. Did you see that? Woo! They are, I usually get ones that are like a centimetre across by 2mm depth. These ones are the thicker ones for 3mm depth. They're quite chunky. I use them, they are really powerful, really strong. I use them if the needleminder I have is quite thick. These wooden tiles are 4mm, and I find that the 2mm depth ones, they're perfectly adequate to go on the back, and they'll be fine. The 3mm ones are a little bit too strong. I do have an example of the 1mm ones at the top, as you can see, but if you can see by that top one, they are extremely fragile, and they just smash very, very easily. I'll show you. Like literally, and you've got to be careful with these as well. If you see a chipped one like that, don't use that. Basically the magnets have smashed together, and it's chipped and it's quite a rough edge. The magnets are going to be near your fabric, and you don't want to snag your fabric, so get rid of that. I will show you an example. If you've got this, they kind of attract together. If you kind of release that very I won't say strongly, if you release it quite fast, and it's not controlled at all, when you're putting your magnets together, they'll break. And obviously it won't do it now because it's on camera. Yeah. But yeah, these 1mm ones, I bought them because I wanted to try and find out which magnet would be the best. The 1mm ones, not so much. So I generally use these, my little neodymium magnets, and these are 1 centimetre by 2 centimetres in depth. So yeah, so you just want to kind of check them for kind of bumps and lumps and chips and everything else, and if they're not all okay, then you'll need to remove the ones that are chipped so you get nice ones. Right, we've done that. I also will be turning a couple of them into pendants, just to kind of show you if that was something you were interested in doing. These are little bales that you can buy from any kind of bead store or online, and you just attach a bit of glue, and then we will be sticking it to the back like that. And then obviously you can put your necklace through there, or your cord, or however you prefer to do your pendant. We'll also be doing some button backs. Move that here. We've got our little, woo! That one's obviously got a magnet on already. We've got our little button backs. Yeah, so we'll be sticking a few of them with magnets. So we've got some backs to our magnets. And I did show, obviously if you don't want to have the fabric back buttons, we'll do some normal buttons as well, and we'll show you what to do with those, because there is a little trick that I know to just help with them. So what we will do is we'll take 2 magnets. One will be for the back and one will be for your needle minder. And magnets have a polarity, so you'll notice that if you put them together, they will either stick together super quick, or they will push together very with a lot of resistance. These I can tell is the sticky together side, and then obviously if I reverse one of them, it's going to repel, and I can feel the pressure when I kind of put it together. There's a lot of, oh, it's flipped around. There's a lot of pressure and a lot of kind of force to kind of stop it going together, and they want to turn themselves around so they can stick together really easily. That's what they're after. If you're at home, it's not so bad for me because I make so many. So if I just stick them on and find ones that will fit and match. At home, I'd imagine that you only have a certain number of magnets, so you'll need to be very careful that when you put them together, the one that you are putting sticking a button back to is going to be the back for your magnet. Because if you think, oh, that's great, I'll stick one as a back and one as a front, and you don't get the magnets the right way around, then it's not going to work because they're just going to repel each other. So you need to make sure that you've got the correct polarity on there. Right, so let's get going and we'll do this. One thing I will say is I use this glue. E6000 is amazing, but this is like a super massive industrial size tube. You don't want this size tube. You want a little tiny one with a little nozzle on that you can easily direct, which is why I use these little syringes. So I'll put glue into the syringe, and then it just gently I can kind of control the amount of glue that comes out. If that wasn't there, I wouldn't be able to do that, and the glue would just go everywhere. So I'm literally just going to fill up my little glue syringe. Won't be a sec. Just making sure the glue goes in, and that we've got enough. Yep, there we go. So I'll put the top on my glue tube, and you'll see it's got a bit of glue in there, so I'll just add my syringe. There we go, get rid of that bubble. Oh, there we go, and we're ready to rock. Got some glue in there. Right, so I'm going to take 2 magnets, find the polarity. There we go. So I want my little sparkly button back to go on that magnet, that side. So I'm going to put that like that and make sure I stick that way down. I think it flipped around. Hang on a second. There we go. You got to be really careful with these. So yeah, I'm going to just stick that back to that, and then that to that. So there we go. You just want a little bit of glue. Ooh, there we go. A little bit of glue on there, and then I'm just gonna stick that down. Make sure that's all kind of covered, and then we'll just put that to. Oh, it's attracted to. I've got the big stack of magnets over there, so it's attracted to it. Like that. Or you can turn it over. That'll be fine. And for this one, you just put the blob of glue in the middle, and then we'll put the magnet on. And then I just like to make sure that I've got a little tiny lip of glue coming out the outside, and that to me just shows that there's glue all the way around. It's nicely secured, and if there's a little bit of excess, then it's not going to matter as long as it doesn't come up over the edge of the magnet. Hopefully that's quite clear for you. And yeah, and when that sets, that's going to go really well with the little sparkly back button. If you don't have the sparkly back button, you can use just an ordinary button. But what you'll need to do is, there's some holes there, so if you put glue on the back of that to try and glue your little magnet back on there, the glue's just going to go through and go everywhere. So, Scotch tape. Let's get a little bit of Scotch tape, and we'll have that as the bit with the glue on, because it's got a nice little lip on. I'm just going to put that on the back, so that once we put the glue, let's make a little tab for those sticky bits. Once you put the glue in there, it's going to go down in those little lips. But that's fine, because we've sealed it on the other side. The glue's not going to come through and make a big gluey mess on there. That's not going to be a problem. So yeah, so you just put the tape down, put your glue on, and then just put your magnet in the middle, stick it down a little bit, little tiny lip of glue, perfect. And then we'll just leave that to set, and then once that sets, you've got your own button magnet to kind of stick on the back, like that. So that is that. I will go ahead and glue all of these. The tarot ones that I've got are actually someone's orders, and a couple of people's orders for that, so I'll do them. And yeah, I'm just loving these little heart ones. They're awesome. But I think we'll turn this one into a nice little pendant, and I'll show you how to do that. You've got your little bail there. We're just going to add a little tiny bit of glue. That's what I mean. That is just using a syringe like that, or if you have a smaller tube with like a little tiny nozzle, it's so much better than the big ones, because there is no way you'll be able to direct the glue onto it as easily as that. So yeah, we've got the bail like that. We're going to stick the wooden tile on like that, so when it stands up, there's a little hole for the pendant to come out. So once we've done that, we're going to try and line it up with the middle. This is hard to do for me to see and hold the camera at the same, to show the camera at the same time, but let me try and line it up. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Squidge that down. Make sure it's all evenly lined, like that. And it's in the middle. And I'm thinking to just hold that in place, just going to add a little bit of tape, so I don't have to hold it, but it stays. Sticky stuff on. I'm just taping that, so this is going to hold it like that, perfectly in the middle, so I don't have to stand there and hold it. So yeah, we've got that. Excuse me. And that's about it. Oh, there's another one there. We'll do that one as well. She's pretty lady. We'll turn her into a little pendant as well. So I'll try and show you a bit more what I'm doing. You have to excuse me. I've been doing loads of crafty stuff, so I've got my dirty hands a bit. A little bit of glue on there. I'm going to find the centre of the lady's face. Centre of the tile. If you wanted to, you can measure it and mark it. I like to eyeball it. I like to live dangerously. So, got our tape, double check. That's quite nice. I like that. I think that's pretty much in the middle. It's above her head anyway, so not nice. Oop, like that. There we go. So yeah, I am just gonna, that's me clanging the magnet, sorry about that, just add a bit of glue to these. There we go, just like that. Bit more glue, bit more glue. So just like that. I like to just squidge it down all around. Make sure there's a nice little lip of glue on there, and just look from this angle. Look from that angle and make sure it's lying flat. And it is. And there we go. One thing I will say is when you put them down, try and put a bit of distance between the magnets. You'll notice I put that one there, that one there, that one there. They're not all near each other, or they're not any closer. If you put them kind of any closer than that, they're like and stick together, and it doesn't matter how neatly you've put the magnets on, how neatly you know how much time or care you've taken. If you put the magnets close, they'll just go. They don't care. The glue's not set. Once the glue's set, by all means, you know, put them as close as you want, because you can easily pull them apart. But until glue everywhere, until they're set, they just want to be stuck together and be very sticky to get them apart. So that's it. There we go. I'm just gonna keep doing this until these are all glued. And I might do some more fabric back buttons because I like to keep a good stash of them in. And that's about it. I'll show you the finished result tomorrow. I'll do you a little video clip, or maybe just insert a picture, and you can kind of see. You can see how they've all turned out. And yeah, you can't even see what I'm doing. I'm sorry. There we go. I'm so used to having it close to me. So we're just sticking on a couple of these little magnets, making sure we just add a little bit of glue, not too much, and squidge it down. And you'll find with this E6000, I think it's amazing stuff. That's my fault. You can tell on that one I've stuck the image down on the wrong side, which is my fault, so I'll have to. Obviously I wouldn't sell it like that, but if it's for you at home and you've done the same mistake, no one's going to see it. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's very forgiving, I think. When you're crafting for yourself and things, if you make a mistake, don't worry. Just have another go. That's the fun. So yeah. There we go. What was I saying? I was saying something. Never mind. Yeah, so we're just gluing these down. Like that. Oh yes, I was saying that. If you make a mistake on this and you put too much glue on, or the glue goes all over the magnet, or however you're not happy about it, maybe you position it wrong, and you position it in a corner or off center, and you want to change it, it's quite simple really. You just wait until the glue sets and then have a good pick. Just try and pick off the glue. And it comes off quite easily, especially on when we do the bottle top ones. I'll show you on those. I won't glue that one because that one's got resin on. But yeah, it comes off quite easily, and then you can just peel it off, peel off the magnet, the glue from the magnet, and reuse the magnet, which is quite nice. So you're not wasting. Yeah, and that is that. There we go. Little tray of Needleminders done. The lengthy bit, the gluing bit's not bad. The lengthy bit, I would have to say, is gluing on the image, because obviously you seal around the sides, and then you seal 3 coats on the front, and then obviously the resin, the waiting and the stirring, and then taking the time to kind of get rid of the bubbles. And yeah, but I think you'll agree. Once you do take the time and do that, the resin is just a beautiful finish. And if you haven't had a go at doing anything with resin, I would seriously recommend it. It's lovely. It's really great. It's great fun. Yeah, and you can set it in loads of things, in loads of jewellery, if that's what you're interested in. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, I'll put in either a video or pictures of the finished Needleminders. Yeah. Thanks for that. So yeah, see you later.
Hi, it's Mike, and Sharice has asked me to do the draw for her giveaway that was on her Guide to Needleminders video. She had 2 parcelled up, ready to go packages of Needleminders, and she's got no idea what the Needleminders are because she packaged them up ages ago. So there might be exactly what we want, there might be something slightly different. They're going to be surprises for whoever wins them. So there's 2 packages, so we need to draw 2 winners. Now the way you entered was to put comments on her Needleminder video talking about what sort of Needleminder you'd like. So I've counted them up, I've got 34 comments. So I've got random.org open on my PC, if you can see that. True random number generator, so I've plugged it all in, minimum 31, maximum 34. Let's see what numbers it comes up. So the first 2 numbers, those are the ones that we'll draw and we'll get the prizes. If for some reason I get the same number twice, I will redraw so that one person doesn't get both. Hope that's okay. So first one, I'm hoping I've pointed this correctly, is 34. So 34 is 34 is Sharon Littlefield. So congratulations to Sharon Littlefield. That's the first one, and the second one is that's number 12. Number 12, and number 12 is Amanda Kabeel. So congratulations to both of you. Hope you enjoyed Sharice's video. I know she's got a stack of videos that she's got for editing coming up. There's one that we've just got out there for a kind of a complete guide to cross-stitch terminology, based a little bit on the husband tag, as it's been called now, video that we did ages back, but it's done with a little bit more detail and photos and stuff. We've had to re-upload that one once or twice because there's a few problems in the edit, partially my fault, partially the problem with the software, so apologies for that. But the video which is up there now is the final one. She's looking at making some tweaks to her Needleminder guide videos. Not Needleminder guide video, my apologies, that one's absolutely fine. No, she's we're looking at doing amendment to the railroading guide video because the floss that was used, it's not as easy to see on the video as we'd like. So I know a lot of people have already seen that video, so we'll probably leave that one up there, but then we'll put a new edited version up there. So and we'll put links from the old video to the new one. So if you've not seen the old video yet, there will be a new one which will be easy to see, and that'll be up there. And I know she's got a load of other like January updates and things that just when she's got a time to record it and I've got time to edit it, they'll be going out there. So congratulations to the winners, and I'm sure Sharice will be getting those out to you soon. Now, it's one of Sharice's videos, so it needs a dad joke. Now, I was thinking about it. I was going to tell you the one about the butter, but I thought about it and you'd only spread it, so not that one. But have you heard about the new movie that's coming out, Constipation? If you haven't, well, it's not surprising because it hasn't come out yet. Bye.
Right, that's it. Congratulations to our winners of the Needleminder giveaway competition. Here you go. It was to win this little Denkai Designs box. That's my Needleminder shop. And inside we've got wrapped up 3 little wrapped up Needleminders. I can't show you what they are because I wrapped them up and I completely forgot what was in them, which was a bit bad, but never mind. So yeah, 2 prizes, 2 winners. Congratulations. I hope you found this tutorial guide helpful. Leave comments by all means if there's things that are unclear or things you want me to go over next, or yeah, even just if you want to leave a personal message, just message me, it's fine. Any queries, not a problem. I'll help you out or answer them as best I can. Yeah, if you are interested in buying any of my Needleminders, then if you go to denkaidesigns.com, there'll be a link at the bottom and that will take you to my Etsy page. If you want to follow me on Twitter, It is Denkai_55. Let me check. I don't know my own Instagram name. Yeah, Denkai_55. And then I show sometimes pictures of Needleminders, but also my cross stitch stuff, crafty stuff, or any general random life crap. So yeah, if you want to follow me, do. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And yeah, I think that's it. Got to have a joke, because we always have to have a joke. What do you call a fish with no eye? A fish. I love cheesy jokes. And there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.
I'm going to have to edit this. You need to do some bloopers.
Mike, this is just a bit of a still frame for you. My camera finishes rocking. Just so you can get a grab shot for the front cover bit. Okay, here goes. Looks like I'm swearing at people. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Okay, welcome back. I think I've dropped my camera. Hang on a second. No, I definitely did drop my camera.